Queer, baka siguro sa susunod na may makeup tutorial workshops.
Maybe may trip to the spa.
Yeah.
This year na lang. May budget naman for spa.
How to walk in stiletto.
Ayun, siguro gano'n. Parang hindi na tayo uupo at makikinig at maging intellectualize. Perform talaga ang tunay na kahulugan ng pagkabakla.
You can do it later in OVAR.
In OVAR.
Actually, nga-reserve lang namin sa end. Kung pwede lang, kung mahaba lang yung time, may budget pa ng konti, it would have been better kung marami.
Sorry. I didn't expect to get into this workshop, and to be honest, I had not really applied to other workshops because the workshop dynamic is very intimidating. What I hoped, and I guess what I expected from this kind of workshop when I first heard last year's poetry, and I actually thought about entering the poetry workshop, but even if I'm not a poet, just so that I can experience it. But then I was so glad that fiction happened a year later, and that I got in, because what an incredible safe space this is. And it just affirmed, I was not only affirmed as a writer, I was affirmed as a gay man and a human being. And I don't think, I am not sure if it is from a lot of stories that I hear, if it's not going to be the same experience anywhere else. It's not a suggestion but a hope. I hope that this series, poetry, fiction, non-fiction, and drama/teaching, I hope that's not the end of it. Because there will be so much more LGBT voices that will come. And I think that this space is important for us to meet and for us to share our work and share our lives. And I also want to echo Andrew's suggestion. As a very introverted person, when sober, I would have appreciated a lot more icebreaker activities.
Or alcohol.
Or alcohol.
In the middle. During.
Siguro liquor, yung mga kaluwa, ganyan. You can do that next year. Pero hindi pwede yung hard kasi wala na tayong set. Mahirap maka-cover ng workshop ng objectives kung masaya na tayo lahat, di ba? But I haven't seen you drunk, so I'll see you drunk later.
No, I can't drink anymore.
Okay.
So there, I would like to thank the panelists for their wonderful insights that they have imparted, not just on me, but on my co-fellows. And I also want to thank my co-fellows. Habang ngayon, kasi baka magwalaan tayo mga. I would like to thank my co-fellows for sharing your perspectives through your work.
Nasabi na ni G, pero I have to reiterate. Muntik na akong hindi sumali talaga sa workshop na to kasi plan was to move to Dumaguete in May, tas feeling ko 2 months into moving, parang ayoko mo nang mag-isip ng workshop. Pero after seeing the list of fellows from last year, as in like we had a pack ng tangina, sabihin tayo. Only to show that there are gay girls who are writing, gano'n. So yeah, at buti nakapasok. And I'm glad to be back in QC. Na-miss ko kahit 2 months. What's this? I guess, I keep on comparing it to IAS kasi parang IAS lang yung naiisip mong workshop na may very specific na framework. And I think what was helpful during the IAS workshop was that yung first day, we had no workshop sessions pero puro siya, yung lecture, si Red Constantino, yes, was there para mag-discuss ng current trends, sa eco-criticism, tapos yung movement ng literature in that kind of framework. So I guess makakatulong din sa atin yun if we have the queer equivalent of that para lang ma-anchor din yung discussions. What else? Ayun, oh my God, twin moment again. What's this? I write mostly mga magical realist stuff, and then I don't know, when I was writing the manuscript for this one, I felt like I had to do a realist na medyo pero but it changed like my perspective of spec fic as a paano ba, like not the ideal genre to write yung mga ganito. Pero nagbago siya kasi parang aspirational din. Kaya parang nung una naiinis talaga ako pag tinatanong pa yung mga labels, yung sexuality and all. Kasi I always parang may nostalgia sa genderless pre-colonial Philippines. Tapos wala, ang ganda lang ng bakla essay ni Pam Jaya. So yun, I guess nagbago na yung perspective ko sa specfic. I guess dahil nga like you have room to speculate, may room for exploring mga plus possibilities. So, and then very minor, bakit Obar may
True.
what?
Puro cats.
Puro
Ano?
Puro cats.
Puro
Oo, wala talagang take.
Grabe.
No, Mr. Obar?
Gusto ko yung bar.
No. Well, actually, kami naman.
There's a lesbian bar in
No. Charot lang.
women's bar for lesbians.
No, he's Obar.
Community.
Obar is everyone. It's weird. The entertainment is drag, so drag queens. But the crowd is super mixed and super queer. No.
May go-go boys. Pero may go-go boys.
Charot lang naman, like bars naman
You
yung
will
dyan
see
na matatakot lang.
it's entertainment.
Si Manong Sigrid.
Manang talaga ako. Gusto ko nga spa yung last day natin, Reno Wellness Center, si Katuna. But that's it. Thank you, Karen.
Homemade.
Super
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Wait na.
Right.
Yes.
Tatanggalin siya. I-face it sa
Sa lumpia.
Yung ano lang.
Pinainom muna pala sa bago siya magsalita.
Sige, go.
Ibrahim.
Siguro I just really cannot emphasize enough my extreme appreciation po for being having me accepted po. But I just gusto ko lang po malaman ng lahat that there are allies out there who help you out. I was I submitted almost parang 1 day or 2 days before the sa extension pa yun, before the last day of the extension submission. Some allies have been really pushing me, so I just want everyone to realize that there are people who are willing to help naman. There are reasons to be happy din, and heightened yung awareness natin, of course, pero after this week, it's just heightened even more and continues to ascend. And I actually took notes because after this, I will meet with my classmates because this also sharing stuff din. Thank you po sa craft din po. You would think that in fiction that it's all out, pero if anything, parang I've been toned down din kasi parang you have to find that balance. You have to be aware talaga na even if it's fiction, it might send still the wrong message. And ayun. Logistics po, sir. Maybe because informally po kasi we've gotten to know the first batch, and maybe we might visit next year because this might be some sort of ritual pilgrimage for us, really. So ayun, baka physical space po kasi. Without destroying the atmosphere of the workshop.
Another venue. So now the message being sent is better Wi-Fi. The food's been great, I must say.
Yeah.
I have not had any issues with the food. The hotel rooms smell mildewy. Diba? I kind of started having rhinitis first 2 nights. But it's on campus, it's quite convenient for people like us who have to keep running to our offices to sign stuff and work. So I don't know how we'll find a solution. Probably Sulu Hotel, close enough. Oo. Microtel. Mas maliit ang venue ng Microtel. Mas okay ito sa Microtel eh. Sulu na lang siguro.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ibrahim.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
But
Paano ba? I guess yung mahalaga dun sa mga naranasan ko nitong mga nakaraang mga araw ay yung pagtalakay ng proyekto muna. Kasi sa mga nakaraan kong mga workshop na nadaluhan, nasa-sense mo yung assertion ng notorious na padrino system ng panitikang Pilipino na ini-impose nila yung aesthetics nila sa proyekto mo. Eh ngayon dito, oddly enough, despite being gender expression and sexual identity-based workshop, mas natutukan yung proyekto ko kasi tinignan siya sa lente na kailangan kong makita yung proyekto ko. And that's very valuable in revising and continuing my work in progress. I'm surprised that other workshops are not built in that same manner. Kasi that's really how it would help me as a writer. Tapos, si Ma'am Luna was I think the ICW chair at the time when I was in Amelia Lapen. Huh? A deputy. I had to jump my work in progress there. Because I realized yung main character ko was a trans woman and I do not have the authority to tell the story of a trans woman. So I've been thinking about that project for some time. And I decided na I should be in a moral position to discontinue that project. What else?
Question lang din sa'yo. Because this is our first workshop as well, and we might be interested in joining other workshops. Pero ano ba talaga yung difference? Because we might go there with this attitude or parang...
It will never be this good again.
It will never... sorry.
So ano yung rules na...
Alam natin the author is dead.
You're anonymous. Everyone pretends they don't know who wrote it. Even if by the time you workshop, kilala mo naman. You can't speak yet. There's no context for your work. Only the work itself is supposed to speak for itself.
And oftentimes they will misread something and it will get
And the panelists will
bound
talk
to the
first.
ground.
And then the fellows come last. And by that time, there's nothing to say because the panelists have said everything. Or almost everything.
And they'd be speaking from a position of authority that anything that you say after that doesn't hold any water anyway. If they begin the discussion. So this is the format alone is great. The other observation that I wasn't expecting, that us people in our community have been marginalized, so we expect to publish using non-traditional methods. So I'm very thankful for the presence of Reggie and DJ, who primarily go through zines and Wattpad. Kasi ito yung venue natin, yung traditional publication, hawak pa rin naman ang patriarka yan. Tapos, a lot of our brothers and sisters are looking for other means to get themselves published because they know they will not be welcome, or at least they feel that they will not be welcomed in a more traditional publishing format. I was very... kaya nagbago din yung... at first, I had so many formalist things to say about DJ's work. Pero when I had to look at it at the lens that he's a Wattpad writer, it became more clear to me what his project was. So, suggestions, Hope Med. True! Hope Med. Kasi, di ba ka-story mo, girl? Hope Med is a nudie spa in Cubao.
Uy, wellness center.
Wellness center. Para lang ma-experience natin. Kasi, di ba, binabasa ko yung story ni Marco. Ano? Wow! This is something that we should experience.
Without ghosts.
Ako, one of the things that bothered me was the seating. When I was seated here, I couldn't pee and, like having to excuse yourself.
And it's cold, so cold.
Sa Amelia La Peña Bonifacio last year, di ba dami sila? Siguro dahil ang dami ng events, so na-hedge
We
out.
actually reserved this more or less ahead of the others there kasi we got given this venue which is supposed to be their best one.
Yeah. Pero yung restrictive yung...
Yes, ang ganda ng pictures natin, napansin nyo, kasi parang nature is surrounding.
Pero maybe the table, if there was another table
This will
here.
become moot if we transfer hotels. But it's a thing to consider, yes.
Yung walking around was difficult. Getting the mic around was difficult because of the space. Not that hearing was hard because since the venue is small, we didn't really need the mics anyway. Pero I think it's for more of recording purposes. What else? I would siguro Soji-wise, I only recently learned what aromantic means. I only came out to myself as an aromantic last year, around December. And I have, there's always this erasure of that experience, that vilification, in fact. People think it's opportunistic or hedonistic or predatory at worst. And this is the first time I've met Carlo again. I think we've met before, but we weren't these people.
Yeah.
We were totally different people 17 years ago. We met 17 years ago.
Cupcake, you were someone else.
He was someone else.
Kinda...
They.
Already more or less there. 17 years ago, more or less Carlo already.
So, and the process of coming out happens several times in your entire life. And I feel that I'm so much closer to Carlo than we were the last time we met. Kasi may nag-resonate na sa atin. I feel that about a lot of us. Na yung, I feel like came out again in that manner.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you so much. Adrian said he wanted to say something.
It's just something I thought of because this is part of a larger Global Grace project. And I was wondering if each batch had something to contribute, for example, to the Filipino LGBTs actor as a kind of output. And I mean, maybe it's something that could be considered for the next batches. That's not just being...
Your writing exercise is due today.
Oh my God.
It is a document that you will contribute
Tomorrow.
clearly. Email nyo lang to Tim yun. Sige, you can do it tomorrow.
Yay! Para naman alis na.
But it is something to be done. Okay. And also, you will revise your manuscripts. And you will email them again, but probably in a few months' time. We will get in touch with you again. Please do revise them because we'd like to use them in the archive for teaching purposes. You understand, this becomes that. There's a possibility of a book, print, somewhere down the line. So, for the moment and the Skapit brought up, diba, para alternative publishing, the archive itself is a form of publishing. And it will mean it can be immediately used in classrooms. Can you imagine the impact that would have? The stories you've written, these experiences, these realities you've written down, can be used for students' classroom, in classrooms, diba? And we'd like to tell you that much as we would like to keep extending this workshop, there is a lifespan to it. The last workshop is the teacher training or drama workshop or we're not sure. After that, wala na. Wala na. We'll have to, if someone can donate, maybe alumni na kayo, you donate.
Magkano ba yung budget? Si Bakla, magiging mayaman na next year.
Baka nga, ayan na, meron na tayo.
The cupcakes
Ito, the cupcake workshop.
Kasi naka-platform.
Katas ko last. Or, what's better and what's really entirely doable is this. You please communicate to others what you've learned. You become the extension workshops. Not everyone who applied got in. You are the select few who got chosen. And do please echo what, di ba they call it sa DepEd, di ba? Echo. You are funded by your school. And when you get back, you echo to your community the things you've learned. And that is the immediate sort of thing that can be done. We will work towards maybe looking for funding for more such workshops. But in case that doesn't happen, I think we're happy enough with the thought that we have planted some seeds and that you will yourselves produce more seeds, diba? You will in fact grow into trees and then, oh my God, bad metaphor, so awful. This is our poetry workshop, kanina pa ako
Genesis.
Alright, so I think we should call it the end of the workshop proper. Let's give each other a hand, please. We have some announcements to make, and I'll pass the mic to Tim now.
To be honest, I didn't expect that I'll be selected as one of the fellows because I thought that there's a lot of better writers. But then again, I'm here. First, so first, I one of my expectations is to really to have a grounding on what makes queer writing distinct from other writing, and I totally got it from here. I got a lot of input that made me realize that it's distinct in its own way, not only in form, but more than form. Also, of course, I'm very thankful because we have these wonderful panelists that given us a lot of inputs in this workshop, valuable inputs. It's very helpful, especially now that I'm considering na to do more queer stories than the general stories. Lastly, when I received the acceptance letter, parang sinabi ko na parang this would be the sign na I will be writing not only about gay stories but about Luma Day stories. Kasi dati I'm quite hesitant kasi baka hindi ko siya masulat na walang justice sa pagkakasulat. But then again, as I talk with my fellows and with the panelists, parang nagkaroon ako ng push ng confidence to write these things because I thought na yung ganong voices ay kailangan ding marinig. Yung struggles nila kailangan ding marinig. As of now, I'm thinking of writing it as not as the Lumad himself, but someone na parang ally or but I know that I could start somewhere. I asked my fellows from the double writers, sino yung would you identify some writers who specialize or who writes about this, ganyan. Because they can really identify, kasi parang for them, parang merong pwedeng magsulat, pero walang courage to write kasi baka medyo hilaw pa yung pagkakasulat nila. But this workshop really have given me that push to consider writing Lumad Gay. So yun lang po. Thank you.
Go ahead. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very grateful.
Miss Universe.
I'm here to listen to you, Archie.
I am very grateful to be part of this workshop, especially coming from the geographic south and the one who writes in Binisaya. I never thought that Binisaya writing would get in this workshop, especially in UP. And I would get in, especially in UP, because I don't have confidence in myself to write deliciously, but I think my writing is my expectations are met because I see now works as holistic, and it must be seen as a form only, and I aspire now to be more kind and loving, especially in my writing, and not only how to write it, but also what else to write after this workshop. And lastly, thank you everyone.
I love you, Archie.
I want to talk about, like, I had the assumption kasi, or I guess expectation about this workshop na I had to submit something realist. I'm primarily a fantasy writer, and I submitted 2 really short stories because I had the assumption it was necessary for this workshop. But I was happy to find out that other people who had submitted, like, something that goes beyond the traditional, that goes beyond realist, they were accepted and they were taken seriously and they were workshopped properly. So that part of me as a fantasy writer who writes gay stuff in fantasy, I felt validated in that way. But another, I guess, criticism, which I guess is expected from me as a woman, is that I am looking for more members, women members of the panel, whether cis or trans. Because I have noticed among my gay friends, gay male friends, that they know each other, gay male writers, they know each other, and they interact with each other online and offline. But there's loneliness in being a gay woman writer. I wanted to have a network, but I felt like hindi pa siya na-fill yung void na yun. And like, the other person here, I already knew her. She's already my
Hindi nag-expand.
Hindi nag-expand. She's already my network.
Joanna is new.
Yes. So I'm happy.
Too old to be her friend.
So I'm happy.
Tentatives. I think tentatives.
So I'm happy naman with you and with you. And with you. Pero I wish that parang na-balance out yung members of the workshop as a whole. And I guess parang mention ko na rin na there's an initial discomfort, I guess. Being around strangers on the first day, being around strangers who are all mostly men as a woman, regardless of sexuality, there's an initial discomfort. So I wish there were more women to be around us.
It's thank you. Actually, dapat nabigyan natin ng instruction then that for Ralph and Joseph, we can go back to you to give suggestions na rin, like what she's doing now. So after you talk about whether their expectations have been met, then please do give us suggestions for improvement, right? That's something we are aware of, Reiji, and it's something we're trying to address. But it's just one of the requirements of our workshop is that it's not so much just sourcing the right people, but sourcing the relevant people. Meaning, we do need, because LGBTQ, we do need LGBTQ writers here. to give the workshop. Problema nga ni Joanna, sino sila? Wala pa identify konti talaga. Luna is actually not identified as LGBTQ. Nandun siya pag in-extend mo LGBTQ IAA. Nandun siya sa pangalawang A, ally, plus. Yun yung mahaba. So, pasok sa banga kahit paano, pero yung bangang medyo malaking bibig. Yung medyo makipot na bibig na banga, hindi papasok. No? It's really something we are trying to address, and we understand it. Now, the number of fellows who got in, you're one woman more than last year.
Can you imagine how much?
We had one trans woman and then one cisgender bisexual woman last year. Diba? So, ngayon, pantay din pala actually. Pareho na. Wala. Kasi konting nag-apply. Kasi may merit din namin sila. So, kung meron mag-apply na women, they didn't make the cut in terms of merit. So, but we will rethink it again. For next year, if the same ratio makes itself apparent, we might confound the merit criterion with something else. Pero it might create problems in the quality of the workshop. Kasi biglang sa hindi masyadong ng merit, biglang magiging basic workshop siya. Naintindihan nyo? Baka mag-grammar mechanics doon. Mag-iiba yung discussion ng konti. Diba? So we wanted to avoid that. We wanted something na may uniformity sana. No? But thank you, Reggie.
I've been running since 1996. I've been alone since 1996. So, I'm so glad to meet you.
In the panel last year,
For us, prospective writers.
in the panel last year, we had Richie, Nerissa Guevara, who is a woman queer poet, and we had Shane, who is a trans man. No? Na pwede kong i-count sana na female towards the female quota, pero hindi na siya female. Male na siya. So hindi ko rin siya, puro lalaki yung panel except for one actually. So ngayon, Luna's here, very happily here.
We're actually one more.
One more, yes. So, one more. So, actually, nag-improve na kami. Ng konti. Slowly but surely, yes. Okay, we do this while eating. We're going over rituals. Alright,
Magandang hapon sa inyo lahat. So, before I came into this workshop, I've always considered myself as a gay man who writes fiction and poetry, speculative fiction specifically. This particular identity is, sinulat ko na syempre, but medyo organized. This particular identity is challenged by this workshop that I may have to consider my position of being a gay writer. The position of being a gay writer, or be a gay writer, or be a writer who happens to be gay, or I could also be both. Tapos when I submitted my stories, I was hoping that I'd meet the gay spec fiction. When I got accepted, I was hoping that I'd be paired with a writer who happens to be gay who writes speculative fiction. Pero I'm very happy with the panelists that was given to me with si Ma'am Luna. Tsaka yung addition ni Ms. Joanna dito sa workshop. Because one of my stories admittedly needs female perspective on it. And that's what I appreciate, that I got to have that. The workshop made me realize that the otherworldly stories I tell have reverberations in the real world. Because I don't think about those things when I read. And this workshop made me think that you should consider those things. Because may real life impacts. Yung mga bagay, these stories about these other worlds that we tell. The stories that I write are not just stories. For entertainment, for passing the time, for a temporary escape. My stories can also be avenues for transporting my own beliefs and views of the world. Suggestions, yung nabanggit ko ni Reggie kanina, na when I saw the list of the fellows, I was actually surprised that 10 versus 2. It's a point that I raised with my friend. And then he mentioned that this is still about merit. I was hoping that
we will rethink merit na naman ulit.
Kasi even if in the other workshops that I've been in, laging talo ng number ng women, laging talo ng number ng men and women. So I was hoping that it would be different nung nasa conference, lumabas. Merit.
This, di ba, one of the issues we faced when we were reading one of your works was that apparently men are more allowed to be more vulnerable about sexuality than women because it's actually one of the stories we took up. It's also reflected here. So it's both empirical in the real world and literary situation. Can we go back to Ralph and Joseph lang for their suggestions and then we go? Kasi wala silang sinabi.
Ralph, Joseph.
Pwede rin walang sasabihin. Pwede lang. Okay lang wala. Pero kung meron,
Say something about Rachel.
meron kayong suggestions, Ralph?
Aside from yung participants, also we would like to reconsider. I mean to raise regional representation of the participants. Kasi parang kung silang dalawa from the other side of the kami naman is from the off-center. Yung parang gano'n. Ay, tatlo. From the off-center.
Exclude na naman.
Sorry. Kasi na ano siya.
Erasure of women na naman.
So, tatlo off-center, gano'n. Parang siguro, kasi I think na, I would like to believe na yung sensibility namin from the off-center would somehow contribute also to the discourse of the LGBT. Also, I would like to suggest na
Apat kayo. Omar is from the South.
yeah, apat pala. Tapos, I don't know, siguro helpful. Actually, I appreciate the Soji Forum. Kasi parang, it's a way, parang aside from writing, parang maraming issue pa din. And actually, it's also a source of inspiration kung ano pa yung pwede namin explore. Yung, to be honest, yun ko lang din nalaman na the struggles of lesbian people, yung gano'n, na mga struggles. So, it's very, parang it's helpful. I would just like to suggest na aside from that forum, parang merong, I don't know, alam ko na one of the purposes of the workshop is to advance parang not only with the form but more than that, the of parang theorizing and all. But I think, kasi hindi level yung mastery when it comes to the craft. Kasi some of us are accomplished, but some of us are still starting to write, including myself. So I think helpful kung may craft lectures of some sort. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll just add what Ralph presented. If there are from the regions who are fellows, it would be great also if there are also panelists who really who really understands the Bisaya, or if Waray fellow the Waray, or if Ilikay not Ilikay not.
They're here, yes.
Yes.
Did you know that? Did you notice it? John is Hiligay Noy. Jimmy is Bisaya in English and English. So your stories were read in the original languages,
Yes.
and we put them here, included them in the panel precisely because they could talk about that and the translation, if the translation is successful or not.
Yes. Thank you.
With additional commentary.
Personal na po to, like a venue with a stronger Wi-Fi connection. Like, it's not a one thing.
Last year the Wi-Fi was better in this hotel. I don't know what happened.
Even the reception in the rooms were not good. Product
So, sumunod kayo.
So duly noted.
The insights and the content is very exciting. Yun yung bago sa tingin ko para sa akin. But I think I was sort of informed lang din siguro yung panel, the panel workshop. Like, na pareho din siya ng mga agendas na mga previously. I don't know if there should be like an innovation on that or a variation of it.
Panel as in having a panel at all.
Yeah, like this, like I don't know if there's a kind of variation.
Have you ever been in a workshop where you were actually accompanied by a panelist as you present, and your works are attributed to you from the beginning?
Oh no, those are the new.
So new na rin yun.
Yeah,
But it's where we've gone out of the old panel. But actually having that structure of panelists and fellows, that cannot be changed.
Okay.
Diba? Kasi the panelists are the practitioners. It's all about passing advice and counsel from those who have done this before and are published and have taught and have experience, diba? And trying to mentor and give advice and share wisdom and strategies, etc. But innovative, probably what? Having what?
What were you thinking?
What were you thinking?
More
theatrical.
More sunlight.
What in
Actually,
particular?
wala akong suggest, actually. And then in terms of expectations, actually gusto ko na sabihin, parang parang, I think I sort of come full circle, and gusto ko na sabihin is I felt actually like I came home, and that the people that actually intimidated me, like you and Roland, in the previous workshops, I really felt kind of nurtured, and there was more. Siguro ngayon ang hinahanap ko na sa mga bagay na pinapasok ko is, that there should be like tenderness and more openness to open yourself. Like, kasi sabi mo nga, yung pinag-uusapan natin, and minsan yung buhay naman talaga is ito lang mas mahalaga
Laging mas mahalaga.
Laging mas mahalaga sa teksto o sa art or teorya or kung ano man. So, actually gusto ko magsasabi ng thank you because at mas nagkaroon ako ng lakas ng loob and nasa tamang direksyon pa rin yung pagsulat ko, na yung pagpapatuloy sa pagsusulat. That's all.
I think I would like to speak for the panel. We have been enriched as I have been enriched, I have been educated, I have been taught as much as the fellows have also been enriched, hopefully educated and taught. It was mutual. What you wrote, it's not something I read anything like that before. It was really new. It was so wonderful. You understand? All of you had that's why you're here, because you are amazing, all of you. And so we are entirely enthused and gratified and ennobled and enriched by your being here. So it looks like we're doing outreach and we're teaching. We're not. I did tell you we were facilitators, and now I don't know what other word I can use. Hindi teacher. Kasi walang teaching.
Mother.
Ganyan, mother. Yun na lang, just use the fraternal bonds or the familial terms we use in gay culture, subculture, di ba? Like, the house of Chanel.
Diba? I felt safe,
Safe space.
That's it. That I can very much confirm. Like, I felt
safe space.
Absolutely safe. That's it.
Thank you, Carlo. Si Ronald, fellow. Ronald was last year's keynote and a member of the panel. And has very kindly been joining us.
Fellows.
Fellows. Hindi tayo magsasalita.
Okay.
Unless gusto mo.
Kasi salita ka ng salita.
Sorry.
Shade.
Shade, oh. This is a place where you throw shade and you get shade. DJ.
Kaya po ng ibang mga fellows. Masaya ako na napili ako sa workshop na ito. Ipinasa ko yung mga akda ko dito kasi alam ko na mas naiintindihan yung, yung nilalaman, yung mga akda. At hindi naman ako nagkamali. Naramdaman ko na safe ako, na walang judgment sa paligid. At kung meron man akong may sasuggest, bukod ko sa parang Soji forum na gano'n, parang magkaroon din ng sariling forum, yung panelists, at yung mga fellows, tungkol sa sarili nilang karanasan bilang member ng LGBT.
Baklang kanal, no? Sana makausap namin sila.
Magsasabi.
Maraming salamat, DJ. That's a wonderful suggestion. Yung Soji Forum we didn't have it last year. It was a suggestion from last year. That's why we have it now. So now with this new suggestion, we'll probably have it next year. Paying it forward in a way, no? We'll probably just select and thinking some representative fellows kasi kung lahat mag-forum na may magsasalita, hindi matatapos or wala ka na mag-add ka ng extra day sa workshop.
Tsaka CNF pa.
CNF, actually baka hindi na kailangan CNF. Hindi na kailangan ng CNF kasi personal testimony lahat yung mga isusulat nyo ngayon. We'll see. Thank you so much, DJ. No? That's a wonderful suggestion.
Similar din po doon, gets naman na goals oras, pero kung kaya lang na modules or more lectures in forum that na-protracted doon sa parang ang bigat din na yung isang session lang, 2 kwento ang dami-damang membol ko, tapos 3 naman sa isang araw. Yung
pero nabigatan na tayo, di ba? Kahit 3 lang na session, 6 na kwento yun, na it can take a toll, emotional toll. Kasi when you read these works, you inhabit worlds, di ba, na parang, and the worlds are tough, ha? All your fictive worlds are tough. Kasi tough ang reality natin. So kung dagdagan pa,
pero
kailangan na natin ng ano.
Dami kasi naungkat na na mga paradox, na napaka-complex na mahalagang issues. Hindi lang sa craft, hindi nga sa buhay din natin mismo. And I was thinking, maybe these modules or lectures might help us be better equipped. Ayun lang.
We'll think about that.
Tapos yung sa merits, baka slot? Sa slots?
Present siya o present slot.
Pag mag-alap ng slots, siguro, kesa yung ranking. Para matiyak na...
So, the LGBTQ, kailangan may papasok na isa sa LGBTQ.
Hindi naman, sir, yung lang din, parang mas dun sa,
pronounce lang
yung sentiment ganyan. Kasi,
hindi kasi acceptable lang. Ang nangyari, last year ganyan din yung suggestion. So, nag-merit ranking, di ba? Masyadong mababa na yung next na women eh. It turned out. Na injustice talaga rin siya. Oo. Kahit na isa lang yung ano mo, may natalsik na isa doon sa mas mataas. Di ba? Ang hirap talaga. So, ganito na siguro ang gagawin. Ita-track na namin pag nag-apply pa lang, humingi kami self-ID, di ba? Ita-track na siya. Tingnan natin kung if it will work.
Instead of the language
Yeah, no, ang nangyari ganito. So, nung lumabas, ganito nangyari. Actually, in the end, may self-ID naman kayo. Nung nirank siya by merit, we had to decide if we could live with the disparity. Do you understand that? And we decided we could because kung papasok namin yung isang additional na L-like writer, masyado siyang malayo. Parang gano'n. The self-ID is still necessary kasi kung malapit lang yung agwat, pwede mong i-push. Kaya lang malayo eh. Malayo.
Pero ititingnan pa yung...
Tsaka nag-represent kami ng language. Ang total applicants, basta siguro 60% in English eh. Or 65%. Kung mas maraming writers in English, di ba? I-adjust mo yung ratio mo siya eh, according to the number of applications you got. So, ganun. But ang hirap ng affirmative action workshop. Kasi ang hirap. Sige, we'll think of more about how to solve it, Christian.
Ayun, yun, maraming salamat po. Kasi naramdaman ko na na espasyo siya, pwede ako maging vulnerable, pwede kami maging vulnerable. Tapos, mas tumingkad yung self-awareness ko dun sa queerness bilang identification at commitment, bilang manunulan at bilang tao. Tsaka, hindi ko mailaraw yung pakaramdam ng una ko na basa yung dadlad ng high school student ako, napatago ko nabasa sila ng shelf sa National Bookstore sa SM Ortensa. Hindi ko pa ibibilhin kasi pakikita ng nanay ko, ganyan. Tapos, yung pakiramdam na encounter ka with what is possible, what is posible pala. Tapos bumalik sa akin yung ganung pakiramdam ngayon sa mga bago, ayun, ang dami lang bago at ang dami lang posible. Ayun, nung nag-apply ako, nung simula tinatanong ko na expectations natin, actually hindi nga expectation, mas nag-hope lang ako na baka sana makapagano ng papalit ko queer fiction, ganyan. Tapos medyo na-exceed lang yun kasi yung mismong workshop ay naging, paano ba, yung pinerform mismo ng workshop, yung pagiging alternative, siguro, pagiging alternative, pinerform yun mismo. Tapos tumingin mo sa akin ng gusto na yung the very queer body and the very queer life, yun yung analog, yun yung critical model. Para din sa din, kailangan din sa din. Kaya maraming salamat po for having us.
Ayun, gusto ko rin magpasalamat bilang ito yung unang workshop ko din. Sobrang virgin ko pa sa ganitong klase ng sessions.
So, hindi ka na virgin ngayon?
Na-virginize ako ng workshop.
Sino? Sino roommate mo?
Ayun, so...
Sino daw niyo?
Ay, naku, hindi ako
Bruce talaga ba? Ano ba? Ayun, kumbaga nagpasa lang din ako dito out of malapit na yung deadline kasi sinabi sa akin ng advisor ko magpasa lang. And then, wala rin akong inaasahan na mapapasok ako dito sa workshop na ito. And then, siguro, personally, yung nangyari sa workshop na ito, mas naging emancipatory para sa akin, mas humanizing para sa akin. Kasi sa labas, after graduation, hindi ko na nabalikan yung ganitong klase ng diskurso. After kong graduate, akala ko hanggang akademya lang yung patriarchal, heteronormativity, and all, lahat ng mga diskurso na nasabi dito. Nawala yun talaga sa akin. Sobrang naging hopeless ako to the point na tinalikuran ko yung pagsusulat kasi tingin ko walang mararating yung pagsusulat para sa akin. Kasi, kumbaga, paano ba ako mabubuhay nito? Paano ko buhay nito? Tapos nag-o-office pa ako ngayon, and then wala naman akong nagiging ganitong diskurso sa akin. And then, dito, kasi yun nga, sinabi ni Carlo na may tahanan dito. So, dito sa workshop na ito, nagkaroon na ako, natagpuan ko ulit yung pagpapayaman ng diskurso. At hindi lang siya diskurso lang at teorya, kundi sarili na rin at buhay mo. Na nakakabit parati ang pagsusulat. Hindi lang bilang craft, kundi pag-aaral na rin pala ito ng buhay. Pag-aaral na rin ng sarili at pagpapalaya rin ito. Ayun, so tsaka nagpapasalamat ako sa mga kwento na nabasa ko sa mga kapwa ko fellows na kumbaga, ang pagsusulat natin ay hindi lang din pala pagpapahayag, kundi paghahanap ng espasyo. So, yung espasyo na to, yun, safe space. And sana hindi lang siya, ang naiisip ko kung sana hanggang dito lamang ba sa apat sulok ng hall na ito, yung kumbaga may dilemma tayo na paano naman yung iba na hindi aral o hindi abot ng masa, yung mga talakayan ng kagaya nito. Paano pa kaya natin maitatranscend o maipapalabas sa masa, sa nakararamihan ng masa, yung ganitong klase ng talakayan. So, hindi ko alam kung ano yung paano mapag-iisipan ito hindi lang sa workshop ito, kasi sa iba pang mga workshop, or sa atin-atin lang din kaya ito. Ayun, so sana challenge din sa atin sa mga manunulat na ilabas siguro yung mga natutunan at ibahagi sa mas nakararami. Ayun, and then sana siguro hindi lang para hindi masyadong mabigat yung mga discussion. Siguro, ewan ko kung magpa-icebreaker pa, or... Hindi ko alam. Parang siguro, hindi ko alam. Break that. Para mapakla lalo yung workshop. Siguro baka masyadong seryoso talaga. Parang walang hinga pa. Makeup tutorials, yun siguro yung kulay. Yun yung talagang queer na queer. Baka siguro sa susunod,